Hello, guys. This is Tamara Hergert. I am a founder of the Empowered Artist Community, and today I am interviewing Leigh Witherell, and she is amazing because she is right up there with best artists right now who are like breaking through and emerging into the modern art market. And her figurative art is captivating and so sincere. It has this authenticity that a lot of modern art lacks. So it has very intriguing subject matter. It's figurative art, and it's focused on intimacy. I wouldn't call it explicit, but it does have some nudity in it, but it's really moderate and really well captured. That's how I would put it. So check out her Instagram if you're curious to see how she is able to achieve it. Her Instagram has recently exploded. So within a year, she went from 3,000 followers to 42,000 followers. So it is definitely worth seeing, and follow her if you like what you see. And so we will be talking about getting into national, international exhibitions and art shows. And I just wanted to tell you that like a month ago, I looked at your website and you had a number of art shows lined up. And now it looks like you have even more lined up, and it's all like within May and June. And I'm like, what is going on there?
Yeah, it goes like that. And thank you for the kind words, by the way. I appreciate that very much. Getting into shows is literally just going to the websites, the call websites. I use the cafe, which is the call for entry website. Mostly, I use that mostly for my national entries. International entries, I go to, it's not Artavita. It is, oh shoot, I'm blanking on the name. It's Art. I can get it out of my LastPass. It is art. It's not Artfacts. It is ArtNet. That's what it is. ArtNet and Artboxy. Yeah. And I go there for the international calls. And like I said before, the Art Letter, who I'm a member of, they also have their international calls. And I love showing internationally because the subject matter is just much more broad. They're not as narrow on their calls as I find here in the States. I will say that if you deal in subject matter like mine, you really need to try and find the art shows that are dealing with that. I just got done with the Seattle Erotic Arts Festival. And yes, it is exactly like what it sounds like. It is the Erotic Arts Festival, and they celebrate everything erotic. I mean, they're very body positive. They celebrate. It's a wonderful festival, and it's in Seattle every year, and it's the biggest one in the country. So it's really worth it to do it. And here in Florida, they also have what they call Nude Night, and it's a weekend long festival, and it's exactly what it says. It's nudes. It's exactly what it says. And again, it's another wonderful festival that was actually started by a woman like 20, 25 years ago
Mhm.
who found that she could not exhibit nude artwork in her gallery without a bunch of like blowback from people. So she's like, all right, we're going to have a festival then. And that's what she started, and it's caught on. And now her daughter keeps it up, and they do another wonderful job. And it's not just for Florida residents, it's national. So you can do it. It's like a national, international calls. And if you do nudes, you really need to find those kind of, I don't want to call them niche galleries because I think that makes them smaller than what they are. But they're very specific galleries because now the censorship and the focus on we must save the children. Why are your children looking at this if you have a problem with
Yeah.
that? When I was raising my kids, I took them to museums. I took them to galleries. They actually went to art classes with me when they didn't have school because my art professors did not mind at all. I had very good kids. They didn't mind at all. And we would, they were exposed to nude art. They were exposed to landscapes. They were exposed to all of it. And they grew up with a really big understanding of the world at large, that the world is much bigger than just the little place you grew up in. So they grew up with that. And I don't understand why everybody wouldn't do that, but apparently not everybody wants to do that. So I always tell people, you need to know what you're looking at when you go to my website
Yeah.
because it's going to be right there. And I don't hide it. I make no bones about it. This is what I like. And this is what I think speaks volumes about the world. So when I look for shows, I look for shows that don't have restrictions on that. Now, not every show is going to be nearly as explicit as the two that I just mentioned. I mean, they really will, they push the boundaries and they encourage their artists to push the boundaries. And I think that's wonderful to do that. I don't do that. I don't really want to get into that. But a lot of my stuff is considered classic fine art nudes,
Yes.
and that's what I like. It's just my aesthetic. That's what I really like to do. But I really want people to be looking at it, and I would like for us to get to the point where we have the conversations about body autonomy and about body positivity and
Yeah.
about intimate relationships and how they really are, how they really work, and not just these fantasies that we grow up with, but really how they work, because there's a lot of people that don't really think about these things. They get married and they'll stay married forever and a day, and then suddenly the kids are gone and they're like, well, we don't even know each other, and then they get divorced. And it's like, you've got to know how to do these things. And I think art is a great way to have those conversations,
Yeah.
because you can stand there with your spouse and you can look at this beautiful piece of art and you can go, we don't do that, why don't we do that? And then it starts a conversation. So that's what I think anyway.
You know?
So hopefully that answers
Yeah.
that question. I will say there, the sticking point with doing international shows right now are these tariffs that have
Yeah.
been introduced. I have a piece right now that is actually literally stuck in Italy. She went to Italy for a gallery who was going to take her to London to show in the Women's Essence Awards. And what they ended up doing was they ended up taking the digital that I had sent them of the piece and they showed it on their screen because it didn't get there in time because of customs in Italy. And now the good news is they're keeping her there until September, and then she's going to go show in Seoul, South Korea, in a show, and they're taking her there. So I mean, come on, she gets to hang out in Italy from now until then. I'm like, that's a hardship, let me tell you. But that's where she is,
Hmm.
and so that you do run that risk.
Yeah.
And I had one piece come back from overseas, and it looked like a gorilla had been handling this box all the way. And the piece was ruined. I had to redo the whole piece. It was absolutely just ruined, everything about it. And yes, you get insurance, and yes, the insurance does pay, but you still lost 3, 4 months of your life
Yes.
if you had to redo it. But I think the international shows are wonderful because I've sold to a lot of collectors overseas. So I do have a nice size collector base overseas. And I really like the fact that my art is being shown in people's homes that are in different places than just the United States.
Yeah.
So I really do like that. It's kind
Yeah.
of cool, actually. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
It's a great way to level up and like
It is.
attract
It
more
really is.
domestic collectors as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just cannot specify, or I cannot emphasize enough that artists have to get out of their studios and they have to get their pieces seen. I mean, why spend all that time creating if you never let the world see what you're doing? And you're running a risk because you are going to face rejection is just a part of the game every day. There's not an artist on the planet that doesn't deal with rejection on a daily basis. Not a one. And you just have to remember it's not a personal thing. It's just that one particular piece may not fit the aesthetic that the judges and curators want for that particular show.
Yeah.
It's not about how good or bad your piece is. Until you keep and until you find your people, your art will find its people, but it's not going to find its people sitting in your room.
Yeah.
It's going to find its people out there, and it's got to be out there.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I am more, and like, you mentioned call to actions and
Hmm.
things like that. I am more than happy to give away all the secrets of the art world to anybody who wants to email me or message me. I don't think any of this should be a secret ever. And I think that that's the one thing that I think that art school messes up on is that they don't teach these things. They don't tell you not everyone's going to be your fan. They don't tell you that you're going to just suffer that. They don't tell you how much money you're going to be investing up front to do things like that. They're like, oh, just paint the pieces. They will come. No, they won't. You got to go find them.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely an upfront cost to applying to art shows. And you also need to be okay with getting rejected and basically just losing that money, never getting your return on investment. And it's just like advertising. You may or may not get the bang for your buck, but um, if you don't do anything, the answer is going to always be no.
Exactly. 100% of the time.
If
exactly.
you do something, most likely you will eventually get to a yes. There's also beginner's luck factor where, you just start doing something and you just start like, getting all this action all of a sudden. Or
Yeah.
even if you just sit in your studio and you start thinking about it, just pure thinking about it, your intention already sets the wheels in motion and you start attracting that particular thing to yourself, and moving toward it is an
Yeah.
important part. You're just showing your own intention and your own pointedness towards that what you want. Yeah. So
That is one thing. You just hit on something that I think too many, especially too many emerging artists, they tend to try and paint towards what they think will sell or what they think will get into shows. And 100% of the time, you're going to fail doing that because it doesn't show your heart and soul when you do that. You need to paint what you feel, what is your heart and soul. Eventually, it will find its home. It really will. It takes a while. This is, like I said before, this is not a sprint. It is a marathon, and it takes a while. But if you keep that up, you will find your people. You'll find your art will find its home. But too many artists are like, well, what's selling right now? Wrong question. Absolutely the wrong question. You shouldn't be asking that question. Yeah.
yeah. So you sell mostly originals, right? You don't sell any prints yet.
I did actually. I just sold my first prints at the Seattle Art Festival,
Nice.
Erotic Art Festival. I sent them 9 prints, and they sold 8
Wow.
of those 9 prints.
Good job.
But yeah, she's the first. That was the first time I've sold prints like that. I hadn't sold that before, and I won't sell my digitals that I work off of only because those are. I mean, they're it takes so much time for me to get what I want, and yeah, no. We won't go with that one. No. So yeah, I do sell. It's only original stuff. It's only stuff. But the prints, I actually did tell my husband I am going to actually start offering prints. I do offer them now on my website in the
Mhm.
store. You can get any of my original canvases can be put into print because I had a professional photographer come and take good quality photographs. And that's the other big thing you got to do for these shows and stuff. You got to get that good quality photo. You can't just pop something up on the wall and take it with your iPhone and you're done. You can use your iPhone because they're really great, but you got to work at it. You
Yeah.
got to get the right lighting and things like that. And
Yes.
boy, there's YouTube videos for that. Go
Yeah.
watch those.
Yeah.
There's YouTube videos for that one. But I mean, there's all kinds of people that will help you out there learn how to do that stuff. To where if you don't have the money to hire a professional, there's all kinds of people that will help you learn how to do it yourself. But it takes time and patience to do that. Like I said, I'm lucky. I have a network architect for a husband. He has all the detail that I don't have where that stuff is concerned. I don't have the patience for that, but he will go around the whole house with a canvas trying to find the right light. He'll have ladders. He'll have light things. I mean, it's a contraption that he's going to do. And he's going to get the perfect shot, and he does a very good job. So yeah,
Yeah.
he does. He
Well,
does
you
a
are
very good job.
lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very good guy. I like him. I'll keep him for a while. So yeah, so there you go.
Well, thank you so much. This has been such a wonderful interview, and I'm so thankful to you for joining me and sharing all of this just super valuable information. And there was one last question I had for you. So, when you ship your art to galleries, typically the convention is like you pay 50% of the shipping cost, and then the galleries pay in the other 50. So when you ship internationally, the cost goes up. Do you have some sort of different arrangement, or is it still 50-50?
Actually, to be honest with you, I haven't run into the 50-50 thing. Most of the time, I'm finding that the galleries no longer have the budget to pay for the artist shipping, even at 50%.
Yeah.
So we ship ourselves. I will say that I use a third party vendor called pirateship.com. And what Pirate Ship does is it looks at all of the available shipping vendors and it'll tell you all the prices to do that. And then if you have problems,
Mm-hmm.
Pirate Ship actually goes to bat for you and advocates and tries to fix the problem for you. They really do a very good job. I'm very pleased with them. They don't cost you any money.
Mm-hmm.
They get paid from the vendors. They don't get paid from the artist. I will say too that the boxing of the artwork is a huge piece, which I've learned the hard way by losing that one. I learned that the hard way. We use air float boxes and we use master pack boxes. They're more expensive, but they are specifically made for artworks. And we will reuse boxes. Obviously you can reuse them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But too many people will just put their art in a cereal box, or
Mm-hmm.
they'll put their art in something flimsy that they find in the garage. And you're really risking a lot when you do that. And for like collectors, I go that extra mile and buy the new boxes because to me it's about the opening experience
Yes.
too. And when you open these boxes, there's foam and there's beautiful paper and there's presentation.
Yeah.
It's all about that too. They're paying thousands of dollars for a piece of art.
Yes.
You need to present it that way.
Yeah.
But even for like galleries and stuff like that, that I do. And the other thing that I would really encourage if you're going to ship your art, especially overseas, get that certificate of
Mhm.
authenticity from a company. I use not Artwork Archive. It's a company out of France. And God, my brain is just blanking on it everything today. But what they literally do is they archive the artwork and they give you these stickers and you put a certain sticker on the canvas, a certain sticker on the COA, and then the person who buys the canvas, they can always go to that website and they can always look it up. And so it gives that
Yeah.
possession line. So it tells them where it's been. And the more places it goes, it archives it for the more places that it goes. Also, get on Artfacts. Artfacts, Facts. It is a database that keeps track of artists and it ranks artists worldwide. And it ranks you by how many exhibitions you've been in, how much publicity you're doing. It ranks you, and it also tells you who you exhibit with most. And this is for everybody on it. And galleries and museums and agents are looking at Artfacts. And if you're not on it, you need to get on it. And galleries are on there and museums are on there. So when you have an opportunity to go exhibit at a gallery or something like that for a show, you can look them up on Artfacts and you can see how successful they are. You can see if they really do the things that they promise that they're going to do, like try and sell work or try and do this and things like that. And you can also look for artists that you can really look to for like their websites for advice. And you can look at how they do things. And that's really, really great too.
Yeah.
So Artfacts is another good one. Too many people don't use it. And you can get an account for free. You don't even have to pay for it if you don't want to. I pay for mine, but it's because I want the analytics with it. If you don't care about that, you're fine. But yeah, it's good.
Well, thank you.
Can be a little competitive. It makes you be a little competitive,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
I actually love looking at other artists' websites because they leave these breadcrumbs of success because you can see that they're really good at something and they've really dialed something in. And if you just see how they have it done and what their business practices are, you can replicate it. Success leaves the trace, and you can definitely just follow into their steps and be thankful to them for being the leaders in that field.
Well, that's why if artists reach out to me and they ask me questions, they will always get answers from me. Always. I don't ignore anybody because I wasn't ignored and I was very grateful for that. And I want to pass that on to other artists. Because if you're just coming out of school or if you're 65 and never shown anything before, you might be a little nervous. And I'm like, don't be nervous.
Yes.
And it's wonderful to do that. We need to do that in the artist community. We need to be each other's cheerleaders. We need to be the biggest fans of each other. And I don't think enough people do that today around the world.
Yeah.
And we need to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will never ignore anybody. They will always get answers from me. So yeah.
I feel the same way.
Good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. So yeah. And thank you for doing this, by the way. It's nice to have art podcasts that are talking to artists and sharing these things. That's really, really nice. So yeah, I appreciate it.
Well, so I just wanted to thank you again for coming to join me today. And guys, check out Leigh's Instagram and take a look at her website. It's definitely worth visiting. Again, I want to invite everybody to also go check out our website. We have a whole bunch of resources, guides, and listen to our podcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.